Welcome back to another episode of How to Have a Home Bar. This is episode 2 where we're going to get into the basics of a cocktail. All right, tell us about our first cocktail.
Okay, so every cocktail has 3 basic parts to build a balanced cocktail. So you have your base spirit, you have a sweetener, and then you have your spice. The old fashioned is the cocktail that I'm going to use to show the basic recipe for a cocktail.
The goal with this first episode is to really teach you how to make a cocktail, not just a recipe for a cocktail.
Right.
It's the idea of learning to cook versus learning a recipe.
Start with our sweetener, 1 sugar cube. If you want, you can make simple syrup and then do a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. And then we're going to do a couple dashes of Angostura bitters. We're going to try and get right onto that sugar cube. The idea there is that it will actually blend into the sugar better. Take our muddler, kind of tap that down until it cracks. We're going to take our bourbon. We're going to have 2 ounces of bourbon because there's no other high alcoholic content thing here. I mean bitters, but you're not putting enough bitters in here to make a difference.
Like that's the liquid.
Yeah, this is the liquid. Stir this in, try and incorporate that sugar into the bourbon before you add ice. Because again, it's easier to combine sugar into a liquid at room temperature or warmer.
Would you do that with simple?
So simple, you don't have to. I do, just because I'm trying to adopt a more Japanese style of bartending. And that's what we witnessed in Japan.
Oh, Japan had Japanese bar.
Yeah.
Shoot.
How'd that work out for you?
Oh shoot! I was trying to razz you.
Tried
I
to
got
get the zinger
razzed. I got razzed right back.
Tried to zing, you got zinged. Your big cube, we're gonna put that here to start tempering so that when you pour your liquid over top of it, it's not gonna crack.
And if you don't have a big cube,
regular ice is fine.
And some people do this
without a cube.
Just quickly explain like what the terms are for people.
There are many ways to order your alcohols. If you're doing a cocktail, you can do up or on the rocks. On the rocks is in a rocks glass with ice cubes in it. Up is going to be your classic martini glass or a coupe. There's going to be no ice in there. The other way to do one of those is on a big cube, something like an old-fashioned, so that it doesn't dilute the drink as much. If you're ordering something neat, you're only ordering the alcohol.
So yeah, so if you're ordering just the alcohol, it's neat, but if you're ordering the cocktail without ice, it's up. Anywho, just thought that was a fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I don't know. Maybe it's so stupid.
And then there are certain cocktails that are served in a rocks glass with no rocks, such as the Sazerac. A lot of that comes down to the culture that cocktail was created in. So the Sazerac was created in New Orleans, and it was really hot in New Orleans. They'd want to use all their ice for cocktails. They would wet the glass and maybe chill it, but they wouldn't waste the ice on the cocktail. Something to remember is that you're trying to pour down the side of the glass between the big cube and the glass.
Beautiful. And there you have it.
There you have it. Now there are a couple ways to garnish this. The classic one is with just an orange peel. The other option is just a cherry, or you can do the old bartender trick where you take a cocktail pick and then you put it through and then you make like a flag with the orange peel, the cherry, and I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, we'll do a whole thing on garnishes. This is your basic old-fashioned.
This is your basic old-fashioned?
That's delicious. Simple, straightforward, delicious. So that's cocktail number 1. All right, what are we changing for cocktail number 2?
The only thing we're changing is our sweetener. So instead of sugar, we're going to use sweet vermouth. So we're gonna make Manhattan. We're gonna put our 2 dashes of Angostura bitters in here.
The same amount as the old-fashioned.
We're gonna do a full ounce of sweet vermouth. This is the big difference.
Why do you use more vermouth than, say, something like a simple?
Because there's different flavors in here. When you're adding sugar, you're really just adding like mouthfeel and sweetness to it. Once you step it up into like a liqueur or a fortified wine like vermouth is, then you're adding in more complexity in terms of flavor profile. Getting more herbs. You're still getting the sweetness from the wine. There's just a little bit more to it, and if you don't put more into it, then you're not going to get that complexity. You're also not going to get the same sweetness out of it.
But the bourbon's the same.
Bourbon's going to be the same.
And you can do this with all whiskey.
Cocktail bars, they tend to make them with rye, just because rye stands up to vermouth a little bit better. There's a little bit more bite to it.
I prefer bourbon Manhattan.
It's a little bit smoother. Got our frozen coupe. Get this stirring.
So you're going to serve this up.
Can serve this on the rocks. Some people like it like that. Or on a big cube.
Pretty. And now this is often garnished with a cherry.
Yes.
Right? I love a Manhattan. Same amount of bourbon, same amount of bitters, and then you're just swapping in one of these to create 2 totally different cocktails. Now, but these are technically 2 different bases of cocktails.
Because of the ratios.
So this gives you 2 recipes for whiskey cocktails. The next episode we'll get into using citrus as your seasoning rather than bitters. Is that the idea?
Yes.
So that's where we'll get into sours, which includes like the margarita and stuff. But hopefully this is a good little intro to start cocktails. Gives you 2 recipes. And next time we'll get into all the shaken, the sours, the good stuff, the crowd pleasers, the crushables. These are the sippables. We'll move into the crushables.
These are the fancies.
Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.